It is Sunday, August 4th, 2019, and this is the Pro and the Con Show, and I am your host, Michael James Ott. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. 15 to 20 minutes every day, almost every day anyway. There's circumstances that sometimes prevent me from doing that. The intent of the show is to encourage us to be open to at least hearing the opposing views out there. Normally go through and talk about the bias that's in some of the, well, many of the information streams that we're able to look at these days. But today I want to talk about community and the fact that this openness to the opposing view or at least understanding or gaining more information. In other words, an openness not to be ignorant. Okay, I've talked many times. I held a coin up here. The coin is two-sided, and you can look at your side, and from where you are, you see the image of George Washington. I see the image of the Statue of Liberty. The reality is it's the coin, okay? The total reality is the coin in its whole. And so it's only until you're willing to turn the coin around and look at it do you truly comprehend it. This is the same thing for all the issues that we have in front of us. The complexity of them is such it takes time, and it takes a reasonable approach in looking at them. So there's a fellow, David Weissman, and he's on Twitter, and he's got, I don't know, it's like 90,000 followers or something like that. And he's been at least according to his own admission, a willful carrier, supporter of some of the hate and stuff like that Mr. Trump routinely uses in the rhetoric and stuff of hate and discouragement that he uses on a regular basis. And by the way, I want to make absolutely clear here, I am in no way making any claim whatsoever that I have had any influence at all on Mr. Weissman. I'm sure it's not true, okay? But somebody somewhere had some influence on him, and he, for whatever reason, opened up his mind and heart to at least looking at the opposing view. And so he's written a special blog post on Twitter, which I didn't even know you could do, but he's done it. Apparently that's possible. And so today, August 4th, Sunday, August 4th, is actually Barack Obama's birthday, apparently. And so I wanted just to read the post that Mr. Weissman posted today, because I think this actually perfectly speaks to what we need. Really, all of us. I don't care where you come from. We need to draw close and hark to what he has to say here. So it says, August 4th is the birthday of President Barack Obama. And I thought long and hard what I would give the 44th President of the United States as a birthday present. If I had the option, I would give him a sincere apology for the hate I gave him when I was a conservative over the years during his presidency. Whether it was on Facebook or Twitter, I was foolish and closed-minded to not question the demonizing of the president on Fox and other conservative outlets. Since day one, when Barack Obama announced his presidency, there was not so good a feeling in my stomach of the thought of him being a black man and being the President of the United States. I began activism in politics shortly after 9/11, and Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly were the first talk show hosts that I began to watch and listen to. I believed anything that they had to say about him without question, because even back then, media outside conservative outlets was considered fake news, and I assumed that this was true. I even believed in the birther conspiracy that Trump helped spread, thinking he was an un-American and shouldn't be the president. I believe that he wanted to take our rights away, including the right to bear arms, and using every mass shooting as a way to make that happen. I've condemned him for any little thing he said, and I made it something more. When he said, conservatives cling to their Bibles and guns, I considered it hate speech towards us, and now I see that he was disappointed that conservatives don't want to look past the religion and guns, no matter who it hurts. And when I realized I was wrong about what liberal values are about, I was wrong about President Obama. So this is someone that at some point here, fairly recently apparently, started at least listening to other people and what they were saying. And again, if you've watched my previous shows, you know that we really want to be in the center. And this strong polarization left, strong polarization right, you know, no, that's wrong. And the vast majority of us want to be in the middle, and we need to listen to each other and allow ourselves to go down that middle path. So, you know, apparently he's decided not to be ignorant and looked at this. So here's some more of what he said. He's done so much for the United States in so many ways, and after all that I've learned, especially about white privilege, I see that when he talked about conservatives, he was right and mainly wanted them to see what it's like to put on the shoes of black people or Muslims or anyone that's not in the conservative, closed-minded bubble. He never was anti-Semitic or anti-Christian or even Muslim himself. He was a decent president, a wonderful family man, and a good patriotic American. He helped many veterans and military, and he was a good friend to Israel. And just because he didn't kiss their butts like the way Trump is doing doesn't mean that you're not a friend. A friend holds you accountable when you are wrong too. And sometimes the Israeli government makes mistakes too, like any other government. He was honorable and diplomatic with Iran, and the money that he gave them, it wasn't even ours, as I used to believe. He was returning their own money. That's true. He was unfreezing assets that they owned, actually, that we had seized. And he did his best to prevent a war. By no means was he a perfect president. Sure, he made mistakes, but he did not deserve the hatred he received while he was in office, and even now, by me and other conservatives. I will take this time and wish President Barack Obama a wonderful birthday, and I am truly sorry to believe any of that hateful propaganda about you, and I am sorry that I took out my frustrations on you. And lastly, it is an honor to serve. It was an honor to serve in the United States military under your leadership. Happy birthday, President Obama. Sincerely, David Weissman. Now, I've looked through some of his other posts. This all appears to be genuine. I hope that it is. Time will tell. And by the way, when I say I hope that it's genuine, you know, people do stuff all the time for disingenuous reasons. And I hope that with Mr. Weissman, and I've seen other people questioning him. You know, they're like, "Oh, come on, you know, you were this raving maniac, a conservative guy, and now you're saying that you know, you've seen the light." Well, honestly, that happens. That happens. And Mr. Weissman responded appropriately when people were questioning that. He's like, "Well, I get it. I understand, and you know, hopefully someday you will trust me. But I understand, you know, that I was closed-minded, and you know, and now that I've opened my eyes and welcomed, you know, a greater spectrum of information, I now see that on many of the things, not all things, but many of the things I was really wrong about, and especially the hate and the vitriol that you know, we're having for each other these days. You know, it's got no place. It's got no place here. Okay? So I'm not really going to read anything else or do anything else for today's show. Just again, promoting that sense of community, hoping that all of you, no matter where you are, no matter what you do, no matter where your beliefs are, no matter how long you've held them, that you would at least open your hearts and your minds to listening to opposing views, to at least listening and hearing the information that these other people have used to form their views, and then openly share the information that you have used to form yours. And during that process, what you will find is that we're a lot closer together than you realize. A vast majority, I believe, a vast majority of the differences that we have are because of our ignorance of each other. I've seen it, I don't know, hundreds of times in my lifetime to this point. And, we can be so much better. We can do so much more. So I'm, again, hoping to inspire you to aspire to be better. For Sunday, August 4th, 2019, this is Michael James Ott, The Pro and Con Show. Bye for now.